be still and know. That's beyond believing. Knowing is beyond believing. Be still in knowing and accepting that when you say, I am healed, accept that as reality, as real. That I'm whole, I'm complete in spirit. My body may have some things going on, but I'm so much more than that. Amen. And so I'd like to revisit a few of the readings that Queen Goddess Natalie gave to us. The first is from the Lums about the impersonal life. I am that innermost part of you that sits within. Feel that I am that innermost part of you that sits within and calmly waits and watches, knowing neither time nor space. For I am the eternal and I fill all spaces. We say in our Science of Mind teachings, there is no spot where God is not. The Bible says before we even call or speak or think, we are heard because we are heard from within what we are. We have misidentified as the personality self of self. The personality is not a self. It is persona through which the self of God expresses as you. That's good news, is it not? The personality that we all have unique personalities, but that's not what you are. What you are is that something that sits inside, calmly waiting and watching for you to look within and behold, for you to look within and see, for you to listen to the silence and know. So what is there for you to know? I had an A. That's what I knew. And I was going to keep my A. So if you say an innermost presence, Christ in us, as the Bible teaches, the hope of glory, I'm going to make sure I'm living in my Christ state of consciousness. There are many states of consciousness, but I'm going to give my attention to the Christ state of consciousness. So I remember many years ago, with a very dear friend, we go, what is our purpose for being? Not for doing anything, not for having anything, but what is my purpose in being? So I remember, I had to let go of the idea I had something to do, because that took me into work and effort and struggle and challenges and different things like that. Took me to situations, and sometimes situations, And so I go, okay, let me just decide that my purpose, my mission in being is to be a student of the still small voice within. That's something that sits inside of me, listening and watching and waiting. My mission is to be a student of that. And then to know that that is the I that I am. Wow. That was really something, because there was so much taking place in my life at the time that I thought that was my life occurring in the external. When I finally got, no, everything occurs within what you are, called the mind of God. There's not one spot where God is not. Another word for God is life. So, I actually have some notes. I like the best I can stick to my notes, because there was so much I like to say. And if I just start speaking, I'm going to miss some things I thought were very important. So I'd like to revisit again. Thank you. Okay, revisit again from page 29 and 32 of the Impersonal Life. I am that. Think to yourself, when you say I, what you're self-referencing, that you are what you are is the I am. What you are is the I am, which animates your body. How about that? What you are is the I am. Innermost presence, innermost spirit, innermost intelligence, innermost divinity that animates your body, which causes your mind to think. And sometimes it's like your mind begins to think you, and you think that you're thinking that. But sometimes the thoughts you have engaged and internalized begin to play back like a recording, looping, like it was earlier today, maybe that was on purpose. So I begin to loop and play back, and you go into distraction, thinking that that's about something and it's about nothing, because what you are is the allness of it all. In the within, not in the without. So I am the innermost, the spirit. I am the innermost, the spirit. So if you feel that something within your body feels like breath, that breath is spirit. That breath is an innermost presence. That breath is divine, self-directed intelligence that knows about your entire physical body system because it created it. Because your body is a hypostatic union with that. I mean, one, they're not two, it's one as one. Union is one as one. That's why when you take vows in America, it says, you're no more two, but you're one. You can't be in a union and there's two. You have to be as one. It's called hypostatic divine union. That's what we are in the within, having a body in the without. So what we are in the body is a thinking mind of mind. We are the hands and feet of spirit. Yeah, we have the hands and feet of spirit. We're the thinking mind of infinite mind. And we have infinite potential in terms of the fullness, the allness that sustains that A we were given. We were given an A. When you arrive and you say live birth, that means everything. There was nothing missing. You were the living on that something within. And so I just thought it was so beautiful. It says nothing can be without manifesting and expressing some phase of me. Me, the I am that sits inside, waiting and watching for your recognition, your realization, your unification, and your expression. That's good news. Is it not? I thought that was so good. It says, my being, and from out of the heart of each, I send forth that phase of me that I desire to express and which manifests in the outer world as a stone, a flower, an animal, a man, a woman, as us, as they, as them, as we, as y'all. That's what I am. And there's no spot where that's not the truth, because God is spirit, God is truth. And it is in this consciousness that we must anchor and become aware and settle, tune in and tune in. So I thought that was just so amazing. And I really suggest this little impersonal life book. It is, to me, it is, when you look at this teaching called Science and Mind of Religious Science, it totally condenses it down to like, I am that. We say that that which creates everything in our Science and Mind textbook is everything that it creates. That's what we say in our Science and Mind textbook that was written by the founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. We say that, and we teach that. There's no space, no spot where God is not. That's in our purpose statement that was written by our founding minister, Dr. Daniel L. Morgan. And so in the play of all the themes that are coming through these scriptures and in these writings, I've asked Queen Goddess Natalie just to break it up just a little bit, because really it is huge to digest that what you really are lives within the body, and that the body cannot absorb, cannot destroy, cannot change that something that is changeless, of which you are in truth. The body goes through changes, but not what you are. What you are is changeless, everything in potential. So in potential, everything for us is possible. In potential, which is God, everything is possible. There's nothing impossible unto us, nothing impossible for you. So when the professor said to us, you all have an A. And that was right there, that wrote an and it's up to you to maintain it. And I thought, you mean you're giving me an A and all I have to do is keep it? I'm keeping my A. The divine gave its allness to you in all the ways that you are and are not. The divine gave its allness to you. It's up to you to tap into it, to live it, to accept it, and to walk around bold and proud going, I am. How about that? To walk around knowing I am. And that's not your ego. The ego is just a personality persona off with the I am, shows itself, expresses itself. This is why Jesus said he was at the same time a man. He was also very God, but he also knew that there was more to what he was than a body, than flesh and blood. He knew that what he really was core divinity within a body. We have to know that for ourselves, that what you are is core divinity in a body. And if that's what you are, then let's see how you're rolling with that knowledge, that knowing, how you're rolling with that, how you're speaking with that, how you're listening with that, how you're talking with that, how you're acting with that. That becomes a conversation. And so I was listening to, I have this friend who sends me a little meme every morning. This one said, not all wounding is obvious. So enter people's lives gently. I went, wow. So some of the things you see like, that's wounding. So do I criticize that? Do I put salt on that? I go, wow. Because to the degree that I do, there's something within me that I have to work on. I have to heal. I have to heal something within me. If I'm going to negate you, I must heal something within me that I didn't come with. I took that in through a personality that I thought it was a self, that sees you as a personality and not as an innermost presence called God. And that's quite a little bit of a journey. It's a practice. And that's why our purpose, I said, we practice unconditional love, which means, practice finding no fault. And when I look at my personality, I see lots of things to find fault in, especially in the political world these days. And I thought, well, if I go there, I'm at the same vibrational frequency. So let me be still. That's not the truth of my being. My being is a divine. That's not divine to meet them right there at that frequency. So let me just be still and know that beyond that, on the other side of that which is true of me or Jesus, Paul, James, and John, is true of this person, this persona. That's a deep practice, because there's such a tendency to feel like something is being done. But what the greatest thing that's being done is what you bring to what you see. What you bring to whatever it is, that's what's really being done. So I have to go, do unto others as I would have me. See others as I would have myself seen. Speak of others as I would have myself spoken of. Oh, that's what that's talking about. Well, let me be still for a moment. Let me be still. And I was doing some reading, says, listen, to the degree that you can let everything your personality has gone on, to that degree, you have the power of the power, the same as the man Jesus the Christ, who there was nothing going on between him and his God state, his divine state. Wow. So I have to let everything go that I've taken in a time, and that isn't easy, because I'm very time blinded sometimes. We're very time blinded sometimes, and we begin to see and listen from the external. Well, not the soul's truth, not the soul's knowing. Their personality is knowing. It's very different. It has its own logic. It has its own theories. It has its own intellectual understanding. But I'll tell you, it's limited, because it limits your potential. It limits your possibility to be the God that you are with a small g. It limits your potential to be the honest of what you are, that you were given when it said live birth on your arrival. I used to work in pathology for a moment. It's that, and I saw many things. But every newborn, I call it spirit newly born, was every newborn wasn't exactly a birth. The newly born said live birth. Otherwise, they said still born, but not live. Ours was a live birth. We were A's. We're all A's. Isn't it amazing? We're all A's. Well, they act like it. We're all divine. Think like it. We're all divine. Speak like it. Speak your word. Speak to your body. Speak to your mind. Speak to your heart. Speak into life. Speak into the race consciousness. Lift up your consciousness. And guess what? Nothing is the same. You will have a whole different experience of what you are because there'll be no obstruction to what you are. Amen. I love this. And so now I'm excited. I'm always, I go, oh, let me see. That's the kid in me. I go, but you know, that's part of it too. There's a kid in me, but I'm not newly born anymore. I have evolved, and so have you. We don't live for free. We go into wisdom. We go into truth. We're going to discovery of the self of ourselves. And we're not so contained by the personality that we've taken on. So just to continue these with these notes I'd like to share with you. I love the idea. Dear everyone, everybody, everywhere. We are the they, we are the them. We are the us, we are the y'all. We are it everywhere. Because God is everywhere in presence, timeless, faceless, formless, and yet as a shadow. Look, I see a shadow reflection on my hand, but that's not my hand. As a shadow, as a stone, as a rock, as an animal walking, as a person speaking, and sometimes just talking, there's a difference. And so I thought, oh, how beautiful is this? I was just so excited. So it's like my oldest son told me when he was 17, I said, what do you think about Jesus? He said, I don't know. Why are you asking me? I said, well, you have such a deep reverence and a high regard of where you look at things. What do you think? He said, well, the first thing is the lessons that Jesus taught. And the second thing is the demonstrations that he demonstrated. And after that, your mind should not be on Jesus. I went, whoa. Okay, thank you. So your mind should come to what's within you that you saw in Jesus, that you heard him speak, that you learned he demonstrated. Bring your mind to that in you. You too must demonstrate. This is why he said, why you marvel at all that I'm doing? You can do this. And even greater, know ye not what you really are? Don't you know? Don't you know yet? Peter said, well, show us the Father you say you claim. He said, have I been with you all this time? And you're just looking at my flesh and blood, and you don't see what I am? You said, oh, thou art the Christ, Son of the Spirit, Son of that which is within you. So, oh, it's in you too. That's how you see it. You see from what you see from what's within you. If it's within you, you see it. If it's not, you don't. So when you see, and one of my first metaphysical teachers at the Unity Church where I began this journey, he said, if you see someone and they're all out of whack and upside down and sideways, only he put it a little differently, but I'm just ad-libbing. He said, no, there goes God unaware in that personality. I go, wow. So when I see, I go, oh, let me see beyond that. Let me see the more. Let me know beyond the more. So Queen Natalie, okay, we're ready now for these notes. Let's begin. We'll play. This is a little skit. We'll play. So speak loud, softly.
These continuing with today's topic, and this was written by Dr. Clara. Soul to soul. Our genetic earthen bodies are perfectly aligned synced up, calibrated, and condensed down into living cells of spirits divine, an inseparable creator DNA.
Okay, and one more time.
Soul to soul, our genetic earthen bodies are perfectly aligned, synced up, calibrated, and condensed down into living cells of spirits divine, and inseparable creator DNA.
It is huge to be present with that, because then you can command your body. You can command your body, you can speak to your body, and it will listen. It will hear you. It will hear you as that which is divine, which is creator of the body. When my grandson was in the neonatal care for almost 6 months, when he was born at 1.5 pounds, I heard them say they had to remix his blood gases. I go, his blood gases, what is that? Well, that's the DNA. That's divine DNA, out of which everything is sustained and maintained. It's great to know that, my part. Dear everyone, everywhere, dare to imagine that the phrase, quote, live birth, unquote, that was recorded on your certificate of arrival at a particular moment along a particular timeline was only in the beginning of what I am as a developing personality within time-blinded thoughts of being a separate and personal self. I'm going to deliver that one more time as well. Dear everyone, and that's you, everywhere, right where you are, dare to imagine that the phrase live birth that was recorded on your certificate of arrival at a particular moment along a particular timeline was only in the beginning of what I am as a developing personality within time-blinded thoughts of being a separate and personal self. You began to believe this information about what you are along the journey of what you took in from the without. Is what I'm talking about. Queen Natalie?
Everyone, everywhere, soul to soul, heart to heart, breath of breath.
And one more time, we repeat because it's so good to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone, everywhere, soul to soul, heart to heart, breath of breath.
All is and all. Inseparable revelations of one infinite creator intelligence, eternally creating developmental states of selfhood, through which to express finite states, stages, cycles, and lifetimes within the exponential unifying polarity of the infinite and inseparable all. I'm going to deliver it again. All is and are revelations of one infinite creator intelligence, eternally creating developmental states of selfhood, through which to express finite states, stages, cycles, and lifetimes within the exponential unifying polarity of the infinite and inseparable all. God eternally, 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 eternally in creation. We call it changes. They go, oh, look at the changes. Oh, where'd that come from on me? That's creation activity. That's creation activity. There's not something wrong. That's the nature of what it is of the infinite. That's the nature of what it is to be infinite. Wow. Natalie?
After all, soul to soul, life listens and recognizes the core vibrational frequencies of everyone, everywhere, all at once. Such is the timeless nature of the promised land, an inseparable presence of what lies deep within. Be still and listen. Your vibrational frequency is always recognized, acknowledged, and accepted accordingly as your word.
Know this. Such is the timeless nature of the promised land and inseparable presence of what lies deep within. Be still and listen. Your vibrational frequency is always recognized, acknowledged, and accepted accordingly as your word. The Bible puts it this way, and it shall come to pass that before they call, see, you're always recognized before you think a thought, before you open your mouth. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer them. And before they speak, I will hear them. Isn't that something? So it calls for mindfulness. Sometimes you have to intercede and interrupt a thought that you know doesn't serve you. You have to bless and release some thoughts. So this morning, Eric said, we're going to be late. I said, well, don't declare anything that you're not interested in fulfilling. Go, got it. It says further, the wolf and the lamb shall feed together. And the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And dust shall be the serpent's food. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountains, says the Lord. That's Isaiah, the 65th verse, 65th chapter, and the 24th to the 25th verse. I'm going to live it one more time. And it shall come to pass. And that time is now. That time has come. That before they call, I will answer them. So you're always known. You're always recognized. You're always listened. And before they speak, before you open your mouth, I will hear them. You are heard. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox, and dust shall be the serpent's food. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountains, says the Lord. Don't you love that? Thank you, Queen Goddess Naomi. Yeah. In the highest mountain, your highest thought, practice listening and recognizing whether or not you are in your highest thought and whatever has your attention. When different things have your attention, and they will, it's the way up 3D. But this isn't the only dimension, as you recall. The man Jesus said, in my Father's house, the house of life. There are many dimensions, many states of consciousness, many states. If it were not so, I would have told you, because I'm going through them. I see them, I feel them. You too must know the way. That I go is the way you must come. You must come from that state of, that's something that sits deep within. And in that awareness, I invite you to become still. And how good it is to be in stillness, listening. Listening to stillness. Listening to silence. But truly spirit, that's something that sits deep within, watching and waiting, listens our very own listening, listens our thinking, listens our feelings, listens our beliefs, listens our thoughts, listens our ideas. And now we become still and listen to all that we came with before time began. Wow, we're given the Spirit of the Most High We were given love, peace, joy, happiness, wholeness, wellness. Wow. How magically are we created in the likeness of that something within, in an outermost expression in all of our ways. What a privilege it is to be the voice of the Most High I Am. What a privilege it is to be the hands and feet of life. What an honor it is to be thinking mind within mind. How awesome to be still and know that there's not one spot where the I am throughout all universes, the earth, the heavens above, and all things below. There is that one presence that is creator. That one presence that is all knowing, all seeing, and listening. And we are that I am in selfhood. Created God, them, male and female, man and woman, animals walking, people talking, rocks, valleys, and hills. Oh, how celestial this grand orchestration of the divine. I give thanks now for this now present moment where all comes together and we know soul to soul, we know face to face, we know everyone as one of one, and that one I call God. And so it is that we are. Ashe and amen. Thank you very much.